Hey everyone, Derek Ryan here. I just wanted to show you briefly how I kind of go about making melodies from scratch. And this time I'm going to start from nothing. Sometimes I start from another idea or something that I've heard or something. But let's start from a truly blank slate here and just make something really quick. Because this is something that I do every day actually. So I generally tend to make at least once a day. Sometimes I'll have a focus session where I'll make like 4 or 5 or something like that too. But it's by getting a lot of things out and not worrying if they're good or not, you can a lot of times like just produce more stuff and remove attachment from it. So you'll just have a bunch of options to choose from. Some of it's going to suck, but you choose the best one. So we're not going to focus on quality so much as making a melody that works today, right? So what I have loaded up here is a template that I use that I made a while back. It's just got like a kick and some stuff in it. It's not particularly important because we're not going to use too much of it. We'll use one thing and I'll explain what we do. So it's just basically setting the tempo to 138 and just kind of giving us some stuff to start out with. But a lot of times when I'm starting from scratch, just making kind of really loud sounds doesn't really work. And especially for trance, I need to make something kind of pretty, at least for me. So what I'll do is I'll pull up a preset that I use a lot in Spire. So I have a little bit of my own modified preset in here that I use for making pluck melodies, let's say here. So you can use whatever, just find something you think is pretty. We're going to go with this for now, but I'll show you what the sound sounds like. It's so nothing revolutionary. It's just, it's a sound. It's kind of a nice pluck. It's got some nice feel to it. So using that, let's think of something we can come up with. So the first way I'd approach a completely blank slate like this is basically making a motif. So what is a motif? A motif is basically like what is the essential pattern of the melody? What is the sort of rhythm and the sort of thing that we're going to do that is the way the melody goes? So let's play with something that kind of has something together. So let me play with a few things. Wrong key. It kind of works. It's a little thing. So I'm just playing some keys that ring out here. Seems kind of cool. Let's get that down and let's see what we can do with it. Okay, so that's the beginning of a melody. Let's go in now. I'm going to zoom in a little bit to this so it's easier to see. And then let's fix the notes because I am not a piano player, so some of these are going to be off. So let me fix them a little bit this way. Let's see. I'm just matching the velocities to something. I'm really anal. I'm going to get it to like 100 because I can. Let's see if it worked. It's kind of cool, but that's not what I intended. So, and off again. Let's fix it. So that sounds cool. Okay, now we need some kind of a progression to go with this. This is actually enough of a melody to make an impression. You can tell how that goes. Bum 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 bum. Sure, at least it's a start. So let's play some stuff. What I usually do is I have like a bass pad to play some chords under here. This is pretty simple. Something I just whipped up together that sounds like just a bass thing. It's fine, right? But it does the job for what we're trying to do here. So let's play with the bass notes and see what we can get here. So that's the root note. Is going to be on our B here. Let's see what else we can do. That'd be cool. So I kind of like the beginning of that. That's kind of a cool movement to have in there, right? Maybe we'll go with the E in there instead. Yeah, that's pretty cool. So that's a good phrase that we can use to start a melody. So let me just play that in. So it's going to need a variation, I think, eventually on this, but let's start with this. I'm going to also massage these notes. Q is for quantize, and then I'm matching the links with shift backslash, which basically just makes sure that all of them are the right length here. Match the velocities so we don't have stuff all over the place. Just clean up for later. It's not going to go to 100, is it? Whatever, it's fine. 101 is fine. So, okay, so we have this. Works. One thing that's good to do in trancey or stuff like this, and I'm going to join these regions together, is to kind of have at least some of the notes on the bass suggested in the melody. So let's see if there's places we can put in some of the bass notes. So it starts actually on the root note of B here. So let me put a couple in here, see what would it feel like if these were bouncing around. That's pretty good, actually. Maybe we should leave that open for now, and we'll see what we think of it. And so let's copy that over, and just match the chords. There. Nope, I think that's off. There we go. I think that's what we have. This gives it a little roll down there, and it might be hard to hear with the bass on here. I'll solo it. So that's cool. Okay, so what else can we do with this? This is pretty cool. It's almost like a complete phrase in itself. This would be enough, actually, to make kind of an emotional melody. It's nice and plucky. Do we want to add something on the end? Let's figure that out. Let's make this, if we do it for 2 sets of 4 bars, which we can do right here, would this be something that we want to make an edit on the second one? Let's try it. Let's try doing just a counter phrase at the end of the second one, because it sounds like it wants to do something almost, right? Instead of just repeating the same thing. So where are we coming from? How about bum bum bum? And then maybe take it up. Let's try this all together. Put this. That's cool. Let's try it all as one phrase. I'm not saying it's perfect, but it's pretty cool. It does a thing. It's useful and might be editable later, so I'm going to save this off. So let me just make it small here. One thing I like to do when I'm making these is in this Spire preset, I have the mod wheel hooked up to just modulate the filter here so that things can open up. So that sounds like... And that's good for getting a feel of these melodies, because you want to know what it's going to sound like when it's big. So let's give that a shot. Sweet. Cool. So the last thing for me to do here, for me to have saved this off for the day and be done, is I just need to give it a name and save it. You got to give it a name, otherwise it's always going to be like melody number 1 or something like that, right? So what have I done recently? Let's see. I went to a bar that had a beer called Healer. Let's call it Healer. So that's just a name. It doesn't. Honestly, at this like point in time, it doesn't matter what you call it, right? You just got to call it something. So let's call it Healer. Then it could be a healer. Let's see. And then I'm going to do a bounce. I'm going to do it in real time so we can work that filter and just give ourselves like a feel of how the entire thing is going to sound. Then we'll have that as reference for later. So now I have to go in. I usually save it at the top level just to make sure I have access to this. We call this .mp3 so Logic doesn't bitch at me. And... Sweet. And there's another one we have in the library. So I can go back then, and that's on my disk, and we can go back and look at that later. And at the end of the month or whenever I feel like I need a new idea, I'll just go through and tag the ideas that I think are good and take the ones that I like and throw away the ones that I don't. So this is something that's a contender. It doesn't have to be the best idea though, because I have a ton of others. So I highly suggest this kind of method of melody writing, of just like creating stuff and then editing it later, and sorry, creating stuff and then curating it later, because that gives you like a lot of options to work with, and you don't get the one-itis. Like if you make it a melody, sometimes it's too easy to get attached to it. So something that works for me, maybe it'll work for you. This is a very like stream of thought sort of tutorial, so it's not very curated, and that's intentional. I want you to see kind of like what is my raw process for doing this, and this is what I do every day. So hopefully this is useful to you.